Have you ever saved all year for that one family vacation and ended up stressed out about every single dollar?
Not anymore. Hi, I'm Mary Ellen.
And I'm Jo. We're two busy moms who have cracked the code on travel with points and miles.
We're here to show you how we turn everyday expenses into extraordinary vacations.
This is Wonderland on Points, where we share tips and tricks to help you earn free and deeply discounted travel.
Let the adventure begin. Welcome back. It is Monday, and that means a new episode of Wonderland on Points presented by Yahoo Travel. We are so glad you're with us for what has become kind of on accident our March in Mexico series. This is our third full-length episode. Monday episodes are full lengths. On Wednesday, we have mini episodes. This is the third full-length episode in a row in Mexico. It was not planned this way, but hey, we love the beaches of Mexico.
Yeah, we sure do. I would like to be in Mexico right now instead of on day 4 of torrential downpour rain here in the Midwest. I am very over it. I'm very over it. My mom says the flowers need it. I personally don't try to grow things, so I would not know anything about that. But anyways, enough about the weather. We have a returning guest with us today. We have Jen from Dive Into Points back with us. You guys might remember a while ago she came on to talk about her Italy trip, and I will link that in the show notes below in case you missed it. Today we're going to be talking Secrets Maroma Beach in the Cancun area. So Jen, welcome back.
Thanks so much for having me. I'm so excited to talk to you again.
We are really excited that you're sharing. We have not covered this property on the podcast. It is a Hyatt all-inclusive, which, you know, womp womp. It's a little bit of a tricky time to be talking about Hyatt all-inclusives because there are price changes a-coming. So if you hear this episode today and you want to book this property, we would encourage you to do it sooner rather than later if possible. So Jen, let's get started right away. Dig into what the changes are going to be and then tell us on a more positive note how Secrets Maroma caught your attention, what made you guys pick this for your all-inclusive vacation.
Yeah, so funny enough, it actually was inspired by the award chart changes last year.
Oh, wow.
Historically, every February, March timeframe, Hyatt had come out and announced, here are the properties that are changing a category. Most of them are always up. There are a couple that go down. But last year at this time, in February 2025, it was announced that this was going up from a category D to a category E. So for those not aware of the all-inclusive award chart, it is on a letter scale from A to F. So D to E is getting on the high end. And I knew that this had been on my radar, and mostly because of the proximity to a diving shop. So my husband and I are scuba divers. There's a scuba shop right next door. We could walk 5 minutes down the beach and go diving.
Nice.
So that had been on my radar. And then when I saw it was going up a category, it just really lit that fire in me to book it before I knew that the price was going to go up in points.
Yeah. Inspiration for everybody listening today to do the same. How much did you pay for it at that time? And just keep in mind, that is not what you're going to pay for it now, guys. Don't get excited.
Yes. So category D, it's a little bit hard to talk about in the was, now, in a couple months, but category D on the current 3-tier award chart, the peak was 35,000 points a night. So we paid that. Now is a category E, that is the off-peak. So currently, before May of 2026, at a category E, it is either 35,000 points a night, 40,000 points a night, or 45,000 points a night. With the new award chart changes coming in May, that range is going to go anywhere from 35,000 all the way up to 75,000 possibly. So that is just heartbreaking
Beyond
in many
painful.
ways. I did, just a tip, look this week and there was availability off peak for nights in August, October, next January. It was the 45K point night price range, but that's, I guarantee, going to be much higher come after May.
Oh, yeah.
So we got in at a good time. I know.
The time is now. No one knows that reference except for anyone who has sons, maybe males in their life. That is a WWE John Cena reference, guys. No one saw that coming. The time is now. I am waving my hand in front of my face. Some of you, please DM me if you actually got that reference.
Jen and I both gestured that this went straight over our heads. So I feel like I'm in good company here.
Yep. Thankfully, my 5-year-old boys are not there yet.
Okay, well, let's talk about it. Let's inspire everybody, because this is, even if you manage to catch it now before the change, it is still a lot of points. So we want to really tell people why it's worth it. So we know you picked it for its proximity to diving, but let's first talk about the flights. How did you get there? Did you use points? Which airline? All the things. Oh, and we also want to know how far in advance you grabbed these, because we're getting questions a lot these days about people trying to get flights in a few months and they're wanting help with their points. And we have to keep reminding beginners that there is some strategy to booking either way far out or potentially maybe last minute. So walk us through that.
Sure, yeah. So our closest major airport is Minneapolis, which is great. It's a wonderful airport, but unfortunately means we're a little bit Delta hub captive most of the time. So a lot of people know that Delta flights can be a little bit higher in points. So typically my process is I look at Google Flights or the Delta app specifically first. I do look at Google Flights in case there are non-Delta options. We're flying to Arizona in a couple days and we're flying American because there was a direct flight. So it's not completely out of the question, even if you are in a hub. So I always do like to still check other options. This one we were only going for 3 nights. So a direct flight was pretty important because we didn't want to eat into too much time traveling both directions. So I found flights that I wanted on Delta. And then the next step I usually do is actually checking Air France or Virgin Atlantic and seeing if that flight that I would really ideally want is available with points on either of those. It's not always available, but that is a good workaround to find a Delta flight. And sometimes we have done that and it has worked. Unfortunately for this one, it did not. They were not available. And we were looking in May for a January flight. So our trip was around the Martin Luther King holiday, just for that extra day off. We went Friday to Monday. It worked a lot easier for us and kids not having school and all of that kind of stuff. The kids did not come, but sending them to grandma and grandpa and not having to miss so much school was easier that way. So back to the flight. What we ended up doing too was also looking, my husband has an Amex Business Platinum card and his airline of choice is Delta. And that, for people who don't know, has a few perks and benefits, but one thing for your selected airline is that you can get 35% off the points cost if you book through the Amex portal. So we did one flight that way. So it saved us quite a bit versus actually just booking direct with Delta. And the other thing I like about that is Amex actually charges you to transfer points to domestic airlines.
They sure do.
Yep.
Which a lot of people don't know and get surprised about. It does cap at $99 and it's, not a huge cost, but it's still annoying. Like, why can I transfer to a foreign airline with no fee, but somehow I'm getting charged for Delta or any of their other U.S. partners. So booking that way saved us a little bit of points and that little bit of cost that it would have had for that additional, I forget what they even call it, transfer cost.
I don't remember what they call it either, but it is annoying. And it does take people by surprise. I've had a lot of messages because I don't think we talk about that enough. It's come up in our beginner episodes, I think, but it is something for people to be aware of. It's a pretty low percentage, though.
It is. It's like I said, manageable. And I think for us, if we had transferred it, it would have cost like $25. And it's not the end of the world. It's just one of those things where I ended up paying fewer points and not having to pay that. So win-win.
Absolutely.
So we did book my husband's ticket that way. And then mine, we actually used a flight credit that I had from a previously canceled flight with Delta.
Great.
That was just kind of lingering in my account and had to get used up anyway. So it was the perfect way to use that up.
I'm so glad you brought up MLK weekend because now is actually really the time to book for 2027. If you guys are wanting to travel January next year, now is a great time to look for flights. I just got a steal of a deal on American Airlines from the East Coast to California for 9,000 miles each way. So 18,000 miles round trip to California and back from the East Coast is pretty much a steal. And I do not think I'll be able to get that good of a price later on. So now is the time to be thinking of those holiday weekends next January and February. Be planning now, not just because Hyatt prices are going up, but because this is a really good time to book flights for that time of year as well.
Yeah, totally agree. I usually am looking for flights 10 to 11 months out if we know our plans far enough advance to be able to do that. Otherwise, closer in is also a good option. I do like to set alerts on Google Flights for when you see things drop, or I use a tool called seats.arrow as well and set some alerts on that in case I want to change a flight. But it's book early, book often if you can, yes.
Yeah, absolutely. And guys, I do want to remind you that we have a link for seats.arrow in the show notes. So if you use that link to get your premium subscription, we do earn a small commission. It's an amazing way to give back to the podcast for something you were already going to do anyway. So feel free to check that out. It is an incredible search tool. So that's down there in the show notes. Okay, moving on. Cancun Airport. What a nightmare. I'm not going to tell the story for the 1,000th time on this podcast because people are going to start getting tired of me telling it. But oh boy, I have had a time at the Cancun Airport. So tell me about your arrival. Did you guys plan something ahead of time? Did you, use a taxi? Did you have any adventures? Did anybody hit your car and try to keep you from getting into it?
No. I had like the complete opposite, smoothest situation possible. It is not our first time. We typically go once or twice a year for these short little getaways to get in a day of diving and stay at a lot of the all-inclusives and that kind of thing. So we typically book a private transfer through Viator and look at all the ratings. I love the extra Rakuten or other shopping portal points that you get by using Viator. This time we booked with a company called STP Caribe, but every service that I booked through Viator has not been a problem at all. Our driver was lovely. He had little coolers of water and cold towels for us, and my husband got a little mini Coronita from him. So it was affordable. There were actually 4 of us. So my best friend and her husband came with us too.
Aww.
And so for the 4 of us round trip, it was, I think, a little under $200, which we felt
reasonable.
Fine with. It was a 45-minute drive each way. So that price to us seemed comfortable, not having to worry about it when we got there. We knew it was a bigger vehicle that could fit all of us and the luggage comfortably, and was also accredited from the resort itself.
Yeah, that's perfect. And that seems very affordable for such a long drive, especially round trip for 4 people. Yeah, 100%. So you can just waltz right past all of the people trying to force themselves on you when you already know what you're doing. Definitely the recommendation for Cancun.
Absolutely. They had a little sign holding our name and everything. They were ready for us. And the one thing I would say is if you are going and you have an arranged service like that, I would download the WhatsApp app.
Yes.
Because they communicate that way. Mm-hmm. And I had accidentally put my husband's phone number on the reservation, and he did not have that. Thankfully, I got the email notification as well. But if you have sketchy, service and you're not checking your email or something like that, I would just highly recommend anything that you're doing with tours or anything in that area, or even other areas of the world too. The WhatsApp communication is the most common that I've seen.
Yes. Yeah, WhatsApp seems to definitely be internationally the best go-to. It's hard for me because I am just getting old and crotchety, and I don't like having a million apps. I'm not great at WhatsApp.
Yes.
Yes,
Same.
but
Same.
WhatsApp really is used internationally by, just people everywhere. So a lot of communication with tour guides and locals happens through WhatsApp. So that's a great tip. Okay, when you arrive at the Secrets Maroma Beach, tell us, what were your first impressions of the lobby, the entrance, the check-in process? Is that pretty smooth? Did it feel really luxe and fancy?
Yeah, so I think before you even get to the property, and I know right now Mexico is having a little bit of moment where people have a little bit more concern around safety. This resort, we had to go through 3 separate gates with check-in, with verification that the driver was bringing us, confirming last name, confirming reservation details. And it is a pretty secluded little resort area that feels very safe. So before we even got there, I was a little bit concerned why we were getting checked so many times, but I realize now it was because of safety precautions, and we felt very comfortable once we got there with all of that. Um, anyway, we walk into the lobby. It's got gorgeous like wood finishing. We did not even have to sit at a desk and check in. They escorted us to a private little table, brought us a welcome drink. All I did is give them my ID. They went and took care of all the check-in for us. Well, we
Ooh.
just sat there and people brought us a nice little welcome champagne, and it was the most smooth experience I've ever had. It was
I
gorgeous.
love a welcome beverage.
Do you think that was a globalist check-in, or does everybody get that check-in?
I think it was potentially a globalist check-in. So yeah, so I am a Hyatt globalist, and we did have two rooms, and one had a guest of honor on it. But I did not see a lot of people sitting at the actual check-in area. I feel like they really want you to start off your vacation and feel warm and welcome. So I did see a few people sitting there for maybe a couple of minutes. And then as they were finishing stuff up, they escorted you to a spot to the bar or something like that, so that you weren't sitting there for the full 10, 15 minutes. We didn't have to sit at all, but other people, it was very short.
Love
And
it.
I think everyone got a luxury experience, globalist or not.
Oh, love it. I'm like remembering getting to the Hyatt Vivid Grand Island that we went to last year. It's giving me that feeling like I need to go back right now. I love all inclusives. I love Mexico. Okay, let's talk rooms. What room category did you book? How many? Well, we already talked about the points that it cost. So I'm assuming you booked a standard room. And then because you're a globalist or because you applied a guest of honor, did you receive a suite upgrade? And did your other room with the guest of honor on it also get an upgrade? And then tell us about the rooms.
Yes. So we were in a junior suite tropical view, which is their most basic room possible.
Okay.
So we did not get an upgrade. The resort was pretty busy being a long weekend, and I had not pushed for it. Like, the most basic room is over 600 square feet. It is giant and feels luxurious. It had a full little like spa tub in the room, in the bathroom. It had a patio with a balcony. So we were upgraded to a preferred building. So there are preferred buildings when you have preferred club access at an all-inclusive. That comes with most globalist benefits or a guest of honor. Some all-inclusives allow you to use a club access award. Others don't. So this one, I think, has been hit or miss on getting that successfully with a club access award. But you know what? We did not spend much time in the room. I did not even care about pushing for a suite upgrade. I didn't have my kids with. It was just my husband and I. The room was lovely, and I could have not asked for anything more.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I think this is a good time to enter a little story time, since you mentioned Club Access Awards and them being applied or not. I've just had a situation that never occurred to me in a million years, and I think that it's a good cautionary tale for people. So I was trying to find a guest of honor or a Club Access Award for my aunt and uncle who are going to the Hyatt Regency Maui. And Mary Ellen and I decided to do a trade. I was trading her a free night certificate. She was trading me 2 Club Access Awards. And we did that. I had one of them go to my aunt and uncle's account. And then I called to apply it. And they said, oh, sorry, we cannot do that. We are out of space. There is absolutely no way we can use a Club Access Award for this stay. And it never in a million years occurred to me to check first. So if you guys are trying to find or make trades for any kind of awards for your stay, I would highly, highly recommend calling first. Now, one piece of advice is that they did tell me that a guest of honor would circumvent this because they can't turn down people with globalist benefits. So if you are a globalist or you're a guest of honor, you get that club access no matter what. But people that only have the club access awards cannot use them when they're at capacity like this. We were able to eventually find a guest of honor. One of our listeners reached out, and she does not want to be named, but I just want to shout her out because she was absolutely amazing, and what a great, amazing gift. Anyways, back to the actual episode, but just keep all these things in mind, guys, when you're trying to apply awards to your stays, because it doesn't always work the way you think it's going to.
Yep, 100%. So that's what I feel like, especially same situation. If they have limited preferred club rooms, they're not trying to get over capacity and make that an unpleasant experience for the guests or have to put you in a different building,
Yes.
whatever the situation is. So I do think it's harder than it seems sometimes, for sure.
So
Yes.
did your friends with the guest of honor booking, did they get put in the preferred club building, but still the
Yes.
same size room as you? Maybe not a room upgrade, but better building and access to the club?
Yes. So they were in the room right next door to us. It was
Oh,
perfect. We
nice.
could lean out our little patios and talk to each other and that kind of stuff. Like, hey, you ready for the day? We're meet downstairs in 5, that kind of stuff. So yeah, so it was lovely. It was perfect setup. They knew because I had put my husband's name on the second room because I wanted him to get his secrets bingo checked off
Oh,
on the Hyatt
yes.
Grand
Hyatt
Explorer.
bingo.
Yes. So he had not because most of the time it's just the two of us and we always put it under my name. But this was a way for him to get the second room and get those elite qualifying nights and that check off on the bingo card.
That's actually
Perfect.
genius. I always book everything, but I'm just now thinking that I should probably be booking stuff under my husband's name when I'm doing repeat brands. Because we don't have a Hyatt account for him. I should be doing a place and a house and all the things under his name. Why didn't I ever think of that before?
Yep, because then if he gets an award, he can transfer it to you
Yes.
or gift
That's
it to
right.
you. So he's
Digitally,
yeah, eventually, yes,
just
yes.
laughing about their archaic point system that's going away. Thankfully, you'll be able to share points. You can already send people awards digitally, but man, that point system is
The
funny.
paper form.
Yeah, the paper form.
Fax it in.
Tell me what else having the preferred club access got you guys. So beyond maybe, depending on the availability and type of year, a room upgrade, what other things throughout the resort did that give you access to? Real quick, everybody, we want to remind you that Yahoo Travel is our presenting sponsor. The Why Wonder newsletter, which is written by Joanna and I twice a week. We've been having so much fun with it. We hope that you are enjoying it. We are building it for budget-friendly travelers who care about traveling further for less out of pocket using points and miles. You know that is our whole thing. We want everyday folks to be able to travel more.
Yeah, and we have a spot for everyone on this newsletter. We're going to be pumping out some beginner-friendly stuff, some more high-level stuff, and everything in between. So no matter where you are on your points journey, this is the newsletter for you. We want it to have the same fun vibe as the podcast. It is written in our original voices. It will also include some of the latest developments from Yahoo Travel, and those are things that Wonderland on Points listeners can really benefit from.
So sign up today at travel.yahoo.com, and you can also find the link in our show notes.
Back to the episode.
Yes. So it varies property to property. At this property, there is a preferred club section of the beach. So for me, it was okay, nice, fine, but it's just the same beach. It's just this one little sectioned off area. So it seemed a little silly to me, but there were, I think, probably better service there and a little bit more availability of chairs, some of that kind of thing. So there's that preferred club beach, and then there is a preferred restaurant. So it is only for breakfast that it is limited to the preferred club guests. And the nice thing about that is that it is order off of a menu instead of the buffet that most guests use. So we did do that one morning, and it was lovely. You sit out, it's right by the water. It was really just relaxing and a lovely little spot there. There is a preferred club lounge. So there's a kind of separate bar. It always has snacks out. It always has, a bartender and a nice little patio area. And there are, I think, like upgraded top shelf liquors. We don't, we drink, but not that we're fancy or anything like that. So that for us isn't really that important. But for some people it might be. And probably my favorite part was that you get a free 25-minute massage at the spa and
Now you're
access to the spa.
talking. Now you're talking.
So my friend and I both did that one day in the afternoon. You do have to probably right when you get there book that service, especially if you're only there for a couple of days, because we were pretty limited on time options that we could do that. But we found a spot. We did that. There's everything spa service wise that you could imagine. We didn't pay for additional spa services, but we got our 25-minute massage. All we paid for was the tip to tip our masseuses. Is that the plural of
I
masseuse?
literally do not know.
Masseurs, whichever that word that is. And then you do get access to some of the facilities, like there's a hot tub and like spa kind of relaxation areas, that kind of thing as well that you can access with that. So that was lovely and unexpected. I didn't know that going into it. I personally probably would not have paid the extra points or the extra money to upgrade. They do send you, like leading up to your stay, multiple emails of, hey, would you like to upgrade for an extra $150 a night? Would you like to buy this spa package? Kind of like all those salesy emails coming in the week or two leading up to your stay. Honestly, if I didn't have Globalist and was not getting that through a Club Access Award or something like that, I personally wouldn't, especially if you're only there for a couple of nights. Was the massage lovely? Absolutely. Was the breakfast nice? Absolutely. But the whole resort is stunning, and there are plenty of options and places and bars and everything you could want without that preferred club access. And I'm just not willing to part with an extra 5 to 10,000 points per night.
Right.
For
Not anymore, anyway.
No, especially when, this was a splurge for us already. We do kind of one of these couple trips a year and go a little bit nicer. A lot of the times when we're traveling with our kids, we're not going all in on, $35K a night places. But I just wouldn't personally do it, but some people love it. And if you're staying for a long time, maybe it would be worth the upgrade to have a little bit more variety.
For sure. That's a very good take. Okay, so the beach. Maroma Beach is very well known. It's famous. It's often called one of the best beaches in the Riviera Maya. So, clearly you guys chose to go diving there, but tell us about the beach as a whole. Does it live up to the hype? And then just for anyone who might be interested in diving, maybe we've got other scuba diver listeners, tell us about the experience.
Sure. So the beach definitely lives up to the hype. I think the reason it gets so much hype is just how deep the actual beach section is with the actual sand. So some beaches you can go to and they're lovely, but it's very narrow, the actual area you can walk on in the beach. And this was just massive. So you could fit 10, 15 people walking across if you needed to. It was not as busy as that. But there was just so much space, and it was beautiful white sand, beautiful clear turquoise water. We did have a little bit of sargassum while we were there, which is unusual for that time of year, but it's really wind dependent, weather dependent. And the property was great about cleaning it up. And I, felt terrible for the people who were trying to relax and everything when the tractor was running in the morning and trying to clean up all of the seaweed. But it was not disruptive in any way for us to be able to enjoy the beach still. Plenty of people in the beach chairs and enjoying that area. You could walk so far down. My friend and I love a good beach walk and start our day with a cup of coffee and go walk the beach for half an hour or an hour. And it was perfect for that.
That sounds amazing.
It was lovely. And the scuba diving, so there's another resort right next door that has a dive shop right in it. So all we did was walk down to the beach, which this beach is great because you know how the super long beaches with the hot sand, how your feet can kind of like burn and it's almost unenjoyable till you get down to the water.
Yes.
We did not experience that. And the resort had like wood walkway down there. So it was super comfortable to get down to the beach chairs. And none of the burning feet situation going on. But yeah, so we spent the first full day we were there. We walked over to the dive shop next door, did a lovely morning dive, saw all sorts of giant clams and lobsters, and anyway, it was lovely and very easy. Like that's for us part of the relaxation of being able to do a resort like this where we don't have to get a taxi and go find a dive shop and
100%.
take a boat an hour away. This was a 10-minute boat ride right down the beach and done. And we were back by the resort by lunchtime. So it was perfect.
Amazing. And that other property just lets you walk right on and use their dive shop, no problem.
Yep. If there's someone down there checking, because some of the time the resorts do have, what room number are you in? Someone checking and making sure that you're not just somebody randomly walking in, but we just told them we were going to the dive shop. We had a reservation right on up, showed us where it was. No problem at all.
Amazing. Amazing.
Anywhere that you can avoid having to hop in a taxi or, extra transportation is fantastic. What about the pool scene? So the beach sounds perfect, swimmable, beautiful, walkable. Were the pools really nice? Were there a lot of pools? Give us that, the details. Are they this is adults only?
Yes. So all of the Secrets brands are adults only.
That's right.
It's
It's
funny.
secret.
Yes, it's funny because I had seen some reports online that there are 13 pools. That is including all of the swim ups that are attached to the hotel rooms.
Oh.
So that's like, yes, each building technically
That's a little
has a
tricky.
pool in front of it, but those are limited to the people in those swim out suites. There's really only one really large pool and then a smaller section of that pool. But it is an interesting layout. It's like long and winding, so it feels a lot bigger, and there's a lot more chair space and things around the pool because of the layout of it. Um, so yes, it is not as big as 13 pools and that sounds overwhelming to me anyway. But it is very kind of centralized right in the middle, so it's easy to access no matter what building you are in. And it is just beautiful, and it's right by the beach. So a lot of people could walk to the beach and then come back to the pool, back and forth, very easy. Around the pool, there was plenty of seating. We never had any issues with the chair reservation drama that you can hear about. We never had an issue even going down a little bit later in the morning or the afternoon and finding spots. There's also a hot tub. We really loved the hot tub because that almost was like surrounded by jungle and it felt much more private and it was always empty.
Ooh.
It was like there was maybe one other time that we had another couple or two in there, but it was a really nice quiet spot if you wanted something away from the crazy water aerobics or whatever was going on in the main pool. It was like a perfect time to sneak over to the hot tub if you didn't want to participate in some of the activities at the pool.
I think that all these Hyatt all-inclusives must do like the water aerobic stuff, which is hilarious to watch.
Oh, I'd be doing it. I would be
I
in there.
can picture you doing this 100%. I did not get in on it. I just watched it.
I'm glad to know the hot tub is a little more secluded, though, because
Yeah.
I love a hot tub, but there's nothing that grosses me out more than a really crowded hot tub. And I've been to several properties lately where the hot tub was just packed with people, and it really freaked me out. I don't know why it feels any different than a pool, but something about the water being warm and crowded, I don't know. But
Well,
I
and they're
do
so much
love a hot tub.
smaller. They're smaller and you
Yes.
feel like you're trapped in there with everybody else's germs a little bit. I feel you. But after we were diving, we were actually kind of chilled from being in the water for so long. So, if you do go in the ocean, we actually thoroughly enjoyed just spending a little time in the hot tub afterwards to kind of transition into sitting in the sun and warming up our bodies a little bit.
Could you swim in the ocean right off of the beach?
Sure. Yep. There were
Yeah.
definitely people there. Yep. Swimming.
When we were in Cancun, you could sometimes, but the days that we were at that beach club, they had the flags up for dangerous currents. So I think it's a seasonal
Yeah.
thing. But that's good to know that you can get in there. And it was pretty warm. Obviously, with diving, you're going deeper. It's going to be much colder. But did you find the water temperature near the beach was nice and pleasant at that time of year?
Yes, we thoroughly, I guess it depends on your tolerance, but we thoroughly felt comfortable. We weren't going crazy, jumping waves or anything like that, but getting up to our waists, and my friends were in there, and we're not the types that are swimming out way in the middle of the ocean unless we're diving. We're just more of the like, hey, I want to get my feet wet and go up to my knees and enjoy the salt water a little bit. And that felt totally comfortable. There are, I bet, days where the flags are up and it is so weather dependent, but we didn't have any of those issues when we were there.
Okay, good to know.
How about the food? All-inclusive food is a little bit hit or miss. So were the restaurants really good? Did you need to reserve your spots at the restaurants ahead of time? Did you guys do more buffets or sit down? Give us the spiel for the food.
Yeah, so I'll go kind of in order of the day. So breakfast, there's kind of three main options. So I did mention the Preferred Club restaurant that you can get a sit-down breakfast. Room service is kind of always available too for all the meals. We did that one morning. The morning we were going diving, we just wanted something quick delivered to the room while we were getting ready. So we got some fruit and waffles, and I think my husband got eggs, pretty standard, and it was all quick and delicious. And then there is the buffet. We did that one morning as well. Everything you could imagine under the sun at that buffet. We are suckers for a, made to order omelet, and that was our go-to there. But they have everything from fresh fruits to homemade breads and a lot of traditional Mexican dishes as well, like chilaquiles and some other variety of breakfast type items there. So there's plenty of good choices, I think, even if you did the buffet every day. But if you want something a little bit more secluded and in your room service is a good go-to too. For lunch, there's also the buffet. We didn't do that for lunch at all. There's quite a few restaurants down by the pool. And on the first day, we found probably the most hidden gem or the most popular spot, which is a wood fire like pizza oven
Yum.
that you can put whatever toppings you want. The guy is incredible. He makes you your own individual little wood fire pizza
Yes.
and sit by the pool and have your own mini pizza. I will do that all day, every day.
That
So
sounds
that was our go-to for
delightful.
lunch. There are a few other restaurants around the pool too, but all of them were lovely that we had, and I would say we kept going back for the pizza. It was great.
Yeah. Okay, stop what you're doing. I am going to teach you how to get a $50 item for free, basically.
Yeah, it's for free. That literally, now it takes a little time. You got to be patient, but you spend 50 the way that we're about to tell you, and you will get $50 back. That is crazy.
This is through Rakuten, which is an online shopping portal. You can choose to get your $50 back in the form of a check or to your PayPal account. But if you are listening to this podcast, it's probably because you like to travel. And we can teach you how to get that back as points instead of cash back. And as you know, $50 worth of points actually turns into more than $50 worth of travel.
Absolutely. Famously, I was able to book a $413 flight for 7,000 points. So that 7,000 points would have been a cash value of about $70, but that turned into $400+ of free travel. And that is exactly what you can be doing with Rakuten. It is super easy. You sign up with the link in our show notes, you go to one of the retailers in the app, and you place your very first order. It is important to note that these payments come 4 times a year, so you do have to be a little bit patient and wait for a payout. They come quarterly, so keep that in mind.
Joanna and I have both earned hundreds of thousands of points this way. Every single year, we're able to earn enough points that it's basically like a whole sign-up bonus for a new credit card without getting a credit card. So this needs to be in your points and miles toolbox. If you're an online shopper, make sure you're getting the most out of your shopping. You're earning credit card points, and you're also earning Rakuten points. It's a nice, what we call a double dip, stacking the savings to put towards travel. So go to our show notes. You'll find the link if you don't already have Rakuten. It is a great, easy way to rack up some points.
Now back to the episode.
My husband and I, it's been a hot minute since we've been to an all-inclusive, but we are definitely food people. And I don't mean foodies. I just mean food people who would strategically plan, like, let's get to this buffet first. So we're planning like a progressive dinner so that we hit up multiple things, or progressive lunch. We want all the things all the times, and then we go rolling into the pool after that, I guess.
Yeah, agreed. I mean, why not? You're there. I would say for lunch, one of the most unique things at this property is they do a tuna snoring, which is like they have a whole fresh tuna and they are cutting it up in front of you. They're making fresh sushi. I know that's not your jam. I see the head shakes coming.
No,
Not our
I've
jam
never
either.
even heard that term before. What did you call it? A tuna
Like
snoring?
snoring, like you at night when your husband snores type vibe. Um, So there were several days where they had like really elaborate lunch. It was almost like an activity, but then tied into a lunch right there by the pool, like huge sushi stations or seafood stations. Again, my husband and I are not huge seafood people, but some people were like waiting anxiously for this to start, and you could tell we're very, very excited about this experience. So something a little unique that I
Cool.
hadn't seen before. Lots of options by the pool. Like I said, the main restaurants are typically just dinner restaurants. So lunch, we found some of the smaller grills and that kind of thing near the pools. For dinner, we were there for 3 nights. We did not make any reservations at all. The main thing that if you want to do a hibachi table, you absolutely need a
And I do.
reservation for that.
Same.
Um,
Same.
so that we did not do that, but that is the one thing that they were like, if you want to do that, you need to book it morning of or day before to make sure you have that reserved spot. Otherwise, we went to three of the sit down dinner service restaurants: the Italian restaurant, the French restaurant, and the Asian restaurant. So did a different restaurant every night. Lovely experiences at all of them. No complaints whatsoever.
Sounds like they have a
There,
little of everything.
yeah, and there was more that we didn't get to do too. If we had been there for 4 or 5 nights, there was, a big ocean seafood restaurant. I think that's Oceana. There's a Mexican restaurant. So, we kind of chose our top three and did those, but there's a lot of variety based on preferences. And the only time we upcharged anything, my husband is a sucker for sake when he's eating Asian food. So he did splurge and get one little bottle of sake that was not included. But otherwise, everything was all included in the price, obviously, of the all inclusive. So,
Sounds like the food spread is absolutely phenomenal. You can kind of tell what bumps everything up a category because the food
yes.
we ate at the other place that we've reviewed previously was good, but there were like 3 restaurants and like 2 little snack carts. This sounds massive. It sounds like you would have to be there for a really long time to actually try everything, which I would need to do. Like I'm going to book, I'm going to calculate all the meals and the number of days, and that's how I'm going to pick how long this is going to be so I can literally try everything because I am obsessive that way about food.
Yes. Yes. There's plenty of choices. And I think my husband's favorite meal, and I think out of all four of us, was the osabuco at the Italian restaurant. So highly
Ugh.
recommend that if anyone does go. Um, but again, we got desserts everywhere. Everything was lovely. The tiramisu, the creme brulee. Like, you cannot
Mm.
complain about anything at any of these places.
No, $0 out of pocket, friends. Imagine just paying for all these meals, let alone the stay. Just total up if you went to restaurants and
Right?
ate all the things that you
Hmm.
ate, how much that would end up costing you. That's why these are so incredible. I don't know what on the new structure, I don't know what that low tier is going to be in terms of dates, but honestly, I might just go for the vibes and the food, even if the weather isn't amazing. I don't know.
How
Hmm.
about nighttime though? If you didn't tire yourself all day out snorkeling or scuba diving and eating, if you're still awake at night, what kind of live music or entertainment, what fun was there in the evening?
Yes, so kind of fun in every level of what you're looking for. So in the lobby, there was every night kind of like a piano player for more of that elegant, you just want to sit and have a cocktail and talk to friends kind of vibe. Otherwise, there were shows in the theater every night, so a variety of things like an Elvis impersonator or, various shows that they have scheduled that you can just show up to. You don't have to book in advance. So quite a range of things there. They also have a silent disco in the area where the silent disco is. It's kind of a entertaining little spot, even if you just show up for a little bit. It doesn't start until later in the evening, so we were not super late goers most nights. But if you were up till 11, and I think it goes from 11 until 2 in the morning.
Oh
So
wow.
if that is your vibe, there is something for everyone. And then, a lot of the times people were just kind of hanging out. We were there during NFL football playoff games. So
Oh
there
wow, that's a big
is,
weekend.
Yeah, there is a sports bar there, and so that was probably the most popular spot when we were there
Sounds like a
in the
great time
evenings.
to send the husbands away and you
Mhm.
and your girlfriend go over to the silent disco,
Yep.
listen, dance without them while they're watching football.
Yes. So they had pulled out a big screen and it was, pretty popular, busy little spot. Um, so if you're a big football fan, they did accommodate, obviously, and had all the games showing. And the sports bar was probably the most popular spot when we were there for that reason because of the NFL games. But
We were that same weekend. Now that you mention this, I was at the Hyatt over the Chesapeake Bay Hyatt,
oh yeah.
and we were in the pool, and they do have TVs because they play movies at night. And I asked the woman, "Can you turn on the NFL games?" And she was like, "No, we don't have cable on there, or we don't have a way to watch TV. We just show movies." Next thing you know, because they have multiple screens, next thing you know, I see these two men come walking up with their phones, configuring things. I was like, these are the real American heroes over here. They worked it out. And so they pulled up the playoff NFL games. They were streaming them onto the TVs at the Hyatt so that everyone in the pool could watch, or so that they could watch while their kids play in the pool. And I was like, where there's a will, there's a way. These men, they were determined. Yes, I'm here with my family, but we are going to watch this playoff game.
Yes, that's what I saw several couples. I'm like, I'm sure you were on your honeymoon or something romantic, and the playoffs are very important. I
Us
mean,
Minnesota fans weren't as thrilled with the playoffs. So.
I
yeah.
have never been more happy that I married a non-sports person. We're equally not sports people, and I think that that's very good for our relationship.
Yes.
We
I
So,
just
am
have to be
curious.
equally yoked
Yeah,
one way or the
mhm,
other.
that's right. And in this way, we are equally yoked. I do have a question though about like the volume of all of the activities when you're trying to sleep. If you are in fact an ancient human like me that likes to not stay up late, you mentioned theater. So is the noise very contained, or are you able to hear the nightlife activities from your room?
from our building, we could hear nothing. So
Nice.
I feel like the theater is indoors. And I'm also ancient, and when I'm at home, I'm like 9 o'clock bedtime. Thank you very
Amen.
much.
Amen.
Um, so we were not impacted at all. I'm sure because of the layout, the buildings and the rooms are really spread out. It's almost like a horseshoe shape. And then the pool is in the main center and everything. And there was not a lot of noise down by the pool itself. It was more inside in specific buildings. So I feel like that contained it a little bit better. And honestly, it was more loud during the day with some of the poolside activities and stuff. So I know I mentioned water aerobics, but they have like aqua biking, they have dance lessons, they had guacamole making lessons, they had macrame, what weaving lessons, if that weaving is the right word. They had kind of everything possible under the sun. Spanish lessons if you wanted to learn Spanish.
All right.
So there was kind of a lot more even going on during the day that was more visible than the evening activities. I feel like were a little bit more contained, even though you could choose your own adventure and go do something a little crazier if you wanted to.
I love that there's stuff to do for my friend Mary Ellen here who does not like to lay by a pool all day.
Yes, that is correct.
I
That's
do
my
like
husband.
busy trips, but on these kind of trips, all inclusive, just plop me in that pool chair with a book. I am so happy. But I know Mary Ellen would just shrivel up and die. So you could learn Spanish and macrame. It's fine.
Or they have a full mini golf course. So my
Oh, I
Yes.
husband and my
Yep.
best friend's husband, first night we got there, they saw mini golf and they were out there. Like we hadn't even settled into the rooms quite yet. And they're like, we're doing mini golf. They had the giant chess. They had so many activities that if you are not like sit by the pool with the book type, you will be busy. Because that is 100% my husband. He is either at the bar chatting with everyone in the sun, or trying to figure out something else to do. So,
Amazing.
How about dress code? This is a weird thing. I mean, we ladies, a lot of times we like to get some new dresses or we plan our resort wear, but are there any dress codes that you do need to know about and follow?
Yeah, so specifically for the restaurants, men need to wear long pants and closed-toed
Mm,
shoes.
important.
Long pants. Okay.
Long pants. So there were a few exceptions if you were eating outside. So like at the Italian restaurant, they had a big outside patio that you could sit on. We sat out there when we ate because it was lovely. And so I did notice a couple of gentlemen in shorts out there. But if you are eating in one of the restaurants, it is best just to pack your pants, men. And they were a lot less strict on the ladies. But my husband just wore, plain black tennis shoes and some khaki pants, and he wore the same pair every night because who cares? You're only wearing it for a couple hours. And then a, easy casual polo shirt or plain colored t-shirt. But the weird thing is that if you don't have pants, they have pants that they offer the men. So they, so they're so
What
That's
strict
about
on
fun.
shoes?
they're so strict. I don't know about the shoes, but they're so strict on having to wear pants that the concierge in our building was let us know if your husband needs pants. I was
You
like,
know what? I think that I would on purpose not tell my husband just so that I could make him wear whatever pants they provide for the fun of it.
yeah.
That's mean. That's mean.
I was like, I don't know what that would entail, but we do not need the pants. Thank you.
No, are they like disposable paper pants? Like when you go to the doctor and they give
I
you those
hope so.
gowns? Like, oh, that's too funny. Someone
And
let
then
us
I
know
would
if
put it
they.
on the internet.
Yeah, correct. And I'm going to need someone to share with us on the internet if they have experienced resort pants before and what that experience was like. Definitely need to know. Drop it in the Facebook group. Okay. We have a lot of new listeners here. And because of that, we're trying to be very conscious of laying this out from start to finish for beginners. So, for someone starting from absolute zero, what credit cards did you or would you recommend opening to make this trip happen? What was the process like for that? Kind of just give us the beginner's play here.
Yeah, I think the go-to number one is probably the Chase Sapphire Preferred. Easy, dip your toe in card that's not scary annual fee level right off the bat or anything like that. I know you ladies are well versed in that and obviously recommend it regularly. Um, and the welcome offer on that can vary, but depending on your spend and that kind of thing, that could get you a couple of nights here at the current rate at
Well, it
least.
used to.
It
Yeah.
used to. So that's, definitely the number one card that I would agree with you on as is probably the way to start. Um, I do have a wedding photography business, so I have some of the ink business cards. I think if there's a business opportunity that you could get a card, those are great ones. Low annual fees on most of those, or no annual fee, and that's another way. I would say the biggest thing when you're just starting is don't try to do it all at once and just ease into it. Don't do anything that's going to make you uncomfortable and or stretch you in a way that you cannot afford.
Right.
That is the number one. You need to preserve your actual dollars over
Absolutely.
points, monopoly money, whatever you want to play with that. But this is real. Credit cards are real, and you cannot go, outside of what your means are and do anything risky, especially right off the bat.
Preach.
Um,
Pay off
so
those balances, guys. Every single month,
yes,
no interest or nothing is free. You're not getting a free Hyatt stay if you're paying hundreds, maybe even thousands of dollars in interest.
yes, absolutely. So that's where I would start, honestly, the Chase Sapphire Preferred. And if you have a business, a Chase Ink Unlimited or a Chase Ink Cash, one of those. Um, there are the opportunities with Built and Rakuten and some other ways to get Hyatt points. Um, those are kind of limited time potentially. I know the next Rakuten payout, from what I understand, is still at a 1-to-1 to Built. After that, things are going to change a little bit, it sounds like, unless you have Built status. I have not gone and gotten a Built card yet. Not on my radar, but that's an option for people. I do not think it's a beginner play. It is very
Agree.
complicated. It is lower priority for most people, I think, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then there's always also the co-branded card options, but which means just getting a Hyatt card was not beginner speak of me, but that's what co-branded means. When we're talking about the Chase Sapphire Preferred, that is a transferable currency, which means that when you earn that welcome offer, those can go to Hyatt. They also can go to Southwest and a list of other places. If you were to open a Hyatt specific card, those points would only live in the world of Hyatt. So those are things to keep in mind. But I completely agree with you, Jen. The Sapphire Preferred is where I would start. Right now, the welcome offer is 75,000 points for $4,000 in spend in 3 months.
Yeah, and the further in the game that you get, I now have, so I started with Chase Sapphire Preferred, and I do have a Chase business card or two. I now have the Hyatt co-branded cards, both the personal and my latest card actually was a Hyatt business card. And so I have that one now. If anyone wants a referral, I'll put it in the show notes. It's the Hyatt personal card I like. It's a keeper card for me because even though it has a $99 annual fee, it does come with a free night certificate each year, which I utilize. So that one I think I will keep long term. My Hyatt business card is to be determined. It's new for me. It has the annual fee on it is a little high for my liking, but it does come with twice a year $50 credits that you can spend at Hyatt resorts that offset the annual fee just a little bit. It does not come with the free night certificate every year, which is the bummer for it. But with Hyatt points being so hard to accumulate right now, I decided, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and go with that co-branded business card, get me 60,000 more. And that's where I am. So there's a lot of different ways, especially if you're new to this, to accumulate points that you could make Secrets Maroma happen.
Yeah. And I will link a Rakuten episode, guys, below. We definitely don't have time to go all the way down that rabbit trail, but it is a good option. It is just a more advanced option, and things, are changing with the built pairing. So I'll link something for you guys to listen to so you can dive into that as well. Okay, so final verdicts, Jen. Secrets Maroma Beach versus any of the all-inclusives that you've stayed at in, kind of a similar area. Would you go back? Is it a one-time thing?
It is our favorite that we have stayed at so far.
Okay.
So
Woohoo!
it is also the highest level that we have stayed at so far. So that's probably impacting that a little bit. We have done Secrets the Vine, which is a category C, which we booked for 25,000 points a night, which was lovely as well.
Okay.
The difference between some of those ones is it's more of a high-rise style.
Yes.
And so you're going up to the 25th floor for your room, and some people just don't like that. This one is more spread out, smaller buildings that are only 3 to 4 stories high.
Okay.
So it's more sprawling, luxurious feel to it, too, than just being in a high-rise building. So I think it is our favorite. We are the type, though, that like to try new places all the time.
Yep.
So I would go back in a heartbeat, but I bet we won't. Just with the changes and with our just constant need to try new things all the time.
Yes.
We will probably try a new property, but I would absolutely recommend it to anyone who hasn't been before, who's willing to part with the points, especially if you can get in before the May 2026 whatever the name is, the great devaluation of Hyatt or whatever we're calling it.
Sad.
So definitely recommend, and would in a heartbeat go back if I had to for some reason and there wasn't other points available options or something like that.
It's good
Love
to
it.
know.
Okay, where are you heading next with points and miles?
Yeah, we have lots of fun stuff going on this year. Since this is my first year being a globalist, we're trying to maximize some of that, and don't know if that will happen again. So we are living it up a little bit. Actually, in a couple days, we're headed to Arizona for spring break with our kids.
Nice.
We're doing a few
Fantastic.
nights up in Flagstaff. My friend has a house up there, so that's no points needed. That's perfect. But then we're doing 3 nights at the Grand Hyatt Scottsdale.
Oh, it's
Got
on
our
my
flights
list.
all on
It
points.
looks so
that's like super exciting. The kids are really thrilled about that. My husband and I are actually going to Roatan in April at the the Kimpton Grand Roatan, which I got 4 nights, 3 nights, 4th night free with my IHG card that I opened. Opening one IHG card got our whole stay covered for 4 nights.
That is a deal.
Oh, will you come back and do an episode on that one for you? Because I am
Absolutely.
interested. interested.
Yes. It was only 40,000 points a night after the
That's
fourth night
insane.
free. So IHG points, and we're flying American down there. Everything's on points. Super stoked about that. And we just booked that 2 weeks ago.
Oh my gosh. I'm
Yes.
about to rabbit hole.
Yes,
It's a
rabbit
good
hole,
pivot,
sorry.
everybody. You know, if you don't
Yes.
have the Hyatt points, there are other
Yep.
programs out there that still have really fantastic deals. So I'm so glad you brought that up.
Yep. And then we have Hyatt Regency Aruba booked for next holiday break with the
Nice.
kids. And
This is literally what I have been trying to book. I am 1,000 points off from what I need, and I will have those points tomorrow because one of the statements close on our credit card, and I'll have that extra 1,000 points. But that is the property that I was trying to book.
Nice.
yes. So we're trying to get that in again before I potentially lose globalist status. And then we've got one quick 3-night in San Antonio at the Hill Country property that is outside of there, and we're going to do that for fall break. So that's our year so far.
Oh, it's a great year. Being a globalist, getting to take advantage of that. That's really fun. And getting all these things booked prior to everything getting more expensive is also really nice. So don't forget, guys, if you are sitting on points right now, that's something you should be looking at doing. Planning, getting some stuff on the books. You can always cancel if it doesn't work out, but at least grab some stuff if you can. Okay, Jen, remind everybody where they can find you on the internet.
Yeah, so dive into points. So I will say I'm not nearly as good or as funny as Joe and Mary Ellen at posting. I do a lot of highlights and save some bubbles on my page, but not a ton of posting, but do like to do property reviews after we get back and that kind of thing. And then I do have a website as well that kind of lays out some of it more blog style and talk about the properties or what we're doing and dive recommendations, that kind of thing. And then wedding photography is Jennifer Marin Photography. So
Beautiful. I will link all 3 of those things in the show notes so people can find you super easily. And thank you for coming back again to share with us. We love having you on.
yeah, I feel like I'm talking to friends, even though I hear you every week and you don't hear me, but I'm like, these are my friends. I'm just catching up. I listen to them twice a week. I just need to chat with them and tell them all about my
We
stuff
are
too.
friends.
You
Next time,
are our friend.
yes, next time I'm in Minnesota, we need to do a whole meetup. Do you guys know I occasionally look at where the podcast is downloaded, what areas it's being downloaded, and Minneapolis area is our #1 city almost all of the time. That and Chicago kind of trade places. But, my people
what?
up in Minnesota will have to do a meetup.
Yes, I would love that.
I'm not kidding about this. You guys get a hold of us on Instagram or on Facebook. We have been talking about either group trips or meetups, and we want to know if you're actually interested in like hanging with some of the Wonderland on Points podcast crew listeners with us. Like if that is something you would actually be interested in, we need to know before we start down the trail of trying to plan something. So just shoot us a message. We would like to know if you're interested, because I am on board. I think it would be so fun.
Yeah, #1 on the list right here. Sign me up.
Okay.
Ready.
Woo, Jen's on. Let's do it. I mean, I come to Minnesota. Mary Ellen goes to Minneapolis. I've gone to Minneapolis several times. In fact, my kid wants to go to the Mall of America. So maybe we should just coordinate something here. But that is not for the podcast. Nobody needs to be hearing this. Okay, guys, we're going to let you all go, and we will see you here next time.
Bye, guys.
Thank you so much for joining us for today's episode. We hope you learned something new and feel inspired to plan your next trip.
Remember, we're travelers sharing our experiences, not financial advisors. So always do your own research and make informed decisions.
If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to like, subscribe, and follow so you never miss a Points and Miles tip.
We'll see you next time on Wonderland on Points.